Welcome to my second productivity report. This is for November 2023. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Caroline and I'm an organizing and productivity coach. And for a while now, I've been thinking about doing these productivity reports to sort of show how my month goes and how I accomplish my goals and what I do and how I do it. And last month I officially started. So this is number 2 and it's super fun. So far, I'm really enjoying myself and I hope that you do too. So yeah, welcome if you're new here. Please ring the bell to get notifications and subscribe if you can. And let's set some goals together. I am right now here in Southern California. It's December. Obviously, I'm wrapping up the past month. But yeah, I'm enjoying some nice winter weather over here, and you'll hear more about that over in January when I do my December report. But yeah, I'm in a lovely Airbnb over here, and just thought I would pull together my November report today. I have so much to talk about, so much to share, so much happened in November that I almost don't know where to start, but let's do it. Going into November, I was actually thinking that not much would happen, that I wouldn't have too much to talk about, because I was just meant to stay at home, not do much, kind of relax and rest. I spent all year basically on the go. I did a backpacking trip through Europe. I did conferences and speaking gigs and retreats all over. And yeah, it was just sort of a whirlwind of a year. And I thought November would be more of a laid back month. That didn't happen though. The universe thought that it would be funny to ship me off to India. So that's where I was all of November. I went at the very end of October and just got back basically a few days ago. So all of November, I was in India. We were shuttling back and forth between Chennai and Bangalore in the south. And the reason for that is my husband's family is from there. And so he thought it would be a great idea if we went there to spend Diwali this year. So Diwali is a light festival, sort of, and it's a really fun occasion. It gets very festive over there, and besides, my in-laws were moving and we hadn't really seen them in a while, so all of a sudden he said, why don't we just go and spend some time? And as we didn't have any really solid Thanksgiving plans anyway, I said, yeah, sure, why don't we do that? And so that's what we did. It was a little bit unexpected. Like I said, I was already kind of jet lagged and tired from having been on the road for the past 5 months, basically. And I just had a few days at home and then we were off again. So I'm starting to get just a little bit fatigued. I think that's okay. But I can't complain. I mean, I've had so much fun this year, and India was just part of the adventure. I love being in India, especially this time of year. It's really nice weather there. It's, in the 70s, that'd be in the 20s if you're in Celsius. And yeah, it's just not hot and not cold. It's just that average, nice, breezy weather that I really, really love. And of course, with the festivals they've got going on and the amazing clothing and jewelry and music and food and fun, what's not to love? So yeah, I was a little bit taken aback by the fact that I wouldn't have November to sort of chill like I had expected, but it turned out pretty great anyway. And I think one point that I want to make is that I was okay saying yes to this spur of the trip moment because I have flexibility built into my business. As a small business owner, as an entrepreneur, there is nothing more important than flexibility. That is a currency that I wouldn't trade for anything, really. It's so wonderful to be able to move things around as needed and be able to rely on your systems and operations in order to do things that you really want, or to take time off, or whatever it has to be. So when my husband brought up this idea of like, let's go to India for a month, I only needed to think of a few smaller things in order to make that happen, right? So the first one was to look at the number of projects that I had currently in action, to see, well, can I still deliver if I take this trip? And you want to be mindful of, having enough time to work, but also not so much time that you don't see the family that you meant to go see, right? You don't want to go there and then just spend all your time working. You want to have time to hang out too. So I really wanted to see, well, given my workload at the moment, what is the balance going to be? Is this actually going to work? And after I looked at the projects that I had going on and made some adjustments, I was able to do that just fine. And that's what I'm saying. When you have flexibility built in as a part of your systems, as a part of expectation, your life just gets so much easier. And it's just so much more fun to run your business when you have that. So that's one thing that I really want you to think about. If that's something you're struggling with, make that happen as best you can. I also had to think about other, recurring areas and responsibilities that I have going on. How would I be able to maintain my courses and my clients in a different time zone? How would that work out? And fortunately, it just so happens that at the moment, most of my clients are in Europe. So me shifting from a central time zone to the Indian time zone actually worked out better, because they could get me basically at the same time, but it was later in the day for me. It wasn't as early in the morning for me. And so that was actually really nice. It worked out great. So yeah, just a few smaller tweaks here and there to fix the discrepancies. And we were all set to go after that. So it is by far the biggest thing you can do for your business when you set up proper systems and operations to allow you to step away if you need to, and to do other things as well. If you're lucky to be in business long enough, things will happen, good or bad, you don't know, but you will eventually need to be able to step away. And with good systems and good practices and understanding how your business runs and how it works, it's actually not such a big deal. And I just love that I've gotten to a point now where I'm able to do that. So obviously that is my specialty. So if you need help with that, feel free to reach out. But I want to put that on your radar, that is by far the most rewarding thing about being a small business owner. So like I said, I thought that November was going to be my chill month. I thought I would take it a little easier. As I mentioned in my last productivity report for October, I took on a little bit too much because I was so excited to get back to work. And then in November, I thought, okay, let me pull back just a little and have a little bit of an easier time. And it's funny how I wasn't quite sure what that meant until I actually sat down to define it. And what I realized is that when I say I want to take it easy, I actually mean in terms of my home life, not my business life. Isn't that fascinating? I thought I would share that because as entrepreneurs, we wear so many hats. I am a mom, I am a business owner, I have to run the household, I have to do grocery shopping, and there's chores, and there's all kinds of stuff that you have to take care of outside of work. And that tends to actually take a bigger toll on me than my actual work. My actual work, I love it so much, it fulfills me so much. It's a lot more fun, right? It's what I would do even if I didn't get paid for it. So when it comes to some, all the other home stuff, it's not necessarily as fun. So when I say I want to take it a little easier, I tend to mean have less chores at home and less things to manage at home. So I kind of got my wish. And that's kind of the funny part is I thought that November I was just going to hang out at home and not do much. But as I ended up going to India, I actually ended up doing a lot less than I normally do, because You know, my family members have a really wonderful staff over there, because you can have that in India. You know, and they take care of a lot of things. So I didn't have any cooking to do, no cleaning, no dishes to wash, you know, no laundry to do. And I just could relax for a bit and not think about any of that. And it was a good reminder for me of how much mental space all of that stuff takes up. And you don't really notice that until it's off your shoulders. So it's actually funny how I did the exact opposite of what I thought I was going to do, but then it ended up working out exactly how I wanted it to work out. So I just thought that was funny. And in India too, because family's around, because I have other things that I want to do and I want to explore and do all of that stuff, I actually work in shorter sprints. I spend a lot less time on my devices. I spend a lot less time, I think, thinking about work than I normally do. So yeah, I'm held in a different way over there, and it freed up so much mental space. I had so many more new ideas, and I had so much more content actually that I was able to produce because I didn't have that other piece that I had to do. So I was actually super productive in November. I did far more than I thought I would, and yet I took it really easy. So if you ever get a chance to go to India and get taken care of a little bit, take it. It's a wonderful opportunity. All right, so let's talk about business projects completed. I say business projects, but I mean projects in general. I have a goal of completing 3 projects every single month to keep my business moving forward. And that is, of course, in addition to all the recurring stuff I always have to maintain. And in November, I completed a total of 5 projects. 4 were for my business and 1 was personal. So I definitely met my goal there. I surpassed it. And again, I think that was partly because I didn't have to think about a lot of the home stuff. In my last report in October, I was saying that I was going to work on a home improvement project. I was going to do a home gym. And obviously, I had to reschedule that because I wouldn't be home at all. So because of this trip, I rescheduled it till December. So it's on for now. Late December, and in January you're going to get to see how I did. But that's, you know, that's what happens. Sometimes you just have to reschedule when things like that come up, and that's okay. It doesn't mean that that goal is not important to you. It just means circumstances happen and we just have to deal with it. November was a really interesting month business-wise because I had a few larger projects that sort of lingered from October, and a lot of them were challenging. I had a custom Notion build that I delivered, which was so much fun, and it turned out so great. Probably the best Notion build I've ever done for anybody. And so that kind of got me excited to work a little bit more on my own. And take that up another notch. So that was kind of fun. I also did a private research project for a past client, and that was challenging as well. There were a few things that I had never done before that I had to do, and that's always fun. You always learn something new. But yeah, so I spent a lot of time on those projects still, but it was to move them over the finish line and get them closed out. So that was okay. They were very nice to have, and very easy in terms of logistics, but yet challenging in terms of the learning curve. So that's always nice. And 2 of my trademarks came through. So I have 1 trademark from before for my course DPO Pro, which is my digital photo organizing course. And I got 2 more now. They had been pending for a while, so I got the Bookend Approach to Productivity now, which is my mini course about how to bookend your day. And then I got Mindful Monday Mapping, which is for my high-ticket program for entrepreneurs on how to create a shorter work week for yourself. So both of those came through. I'm still waiting on the last one, but that's going to come through any day now. So I'm excited about that. So that'll be a total of 4. And yeah, it's nice to sort of have that over and done with so that I can go forward and market those courses a little bit more. I always like to just do my due diligence and make sure everything's been cleared before I go full in on any of that. So yeah, that was fun. My favorite project though this month was, wait for it, updating the controlled keyword vocabulary on my blogging platform. So if you don't know what a controlled keyword vocabulary is, it's basically a set of keywords that you have thought out ahead of time and that is very organized in a hierarchical way so that you know exactly what keywords to use, what to embed, what to implement, and basically what people should search for. And it lines up very nicely with search engine optimization. Basically, you have to be very intentional in the keywords and categories that you use whenever you create an archive or of some sort, because people have to be able to find the content, without having to search too long, right? So your blogging platform needs to be indexed, right? All your pages have to rank. And your visitors shouldn't get frustrated searching for the content that they want. So your blogging platform really benefits from having that controlled keyword vocabulary, just like your photo archive does. So that is what I updated for myself. I love blogging. Writing is one of the ways I express myself, and so I definitely needed to update that. It's been a while since I did it last time, and that was super fun. Obviously, this is kind of where I geek out. It's one of my fields of expertise again, but I just love having everything well organized so that you can find things that you need. Obviously, that helps me rank higher on Google. Google has, for years and years, been, the top referral source for me, as well as Pinterest. And so obviously it's working what I'm doing. And I'm actually toying with the idea of creating some smaller workshops on those topics. So how to stay organized with a controlled keyword vocabulary and tagging system for your marketing or your email or your blogging or your photo archive or any of that. We have obviously a lot of resources on the photo side already, but we don't have it for email marketing and for blogging and things like that. So if you're interested in that, comment below and let me know what would be of interest to you, and maybe we'll put something together on that. In November, I worked a total of 119 hours and 55 minutes, so almost 120 hours. And if you round that up and then average that out over 4 weeks, that is about 30 hours per week, which is actually right on target for my goal. At the beginning of this year, I said I would work about 30 hours per week. And surprisingly enough, that's exactly what happened in November. And it's funny because in October, I worked 20 hours or so. I can't remember the exact number, but it was less per week. And it felt so much heavier. This month, I worked another 10 hours per week and it felt so much lighter. And so I think that's just a really good illustration of what it means to have other responsibilities that kind of weigh on you, right? Workload wise, it was a lot more spaced out this month, and that was nice. But it shows just how much the environment shapes your reality, right? So me being in a different place and being taken care of a little bit more, not having to do as much at home, really freed me up. And actually, I was able to put in a lot more hours that felt better, felt more productive, and somehow yet much lighter. So yeah, with all that home stuff off my plate, my time just completely opened up and I had more energy than normal. Everything felt very easy. So it's actually just what I needed this month. And obviously traveling comes with its own unique set of challenges. I'm a little jet lagged, I gotta say, but yeah, it was worth it. So in a nutshell, it's funny how you can end up doing a little bit more, but it feels better. when you take some of that other stuff off your plate. So that kind of just brings me to the point too that I want to make about, when you hire help for your own business, it doesn't necessarily have to be for your business. It could be to facilitate your work and lifestyle, right? So it could be that you hire a house cleaning crew. It could be that you hire a chef or somebody to mow your lawn, or just take care of your kids for a couple of hours here or there, maybe an assistant. It doesn't actually have to be a specialist for your business per se, right? So sometimes we feel as entrepreneurs that, oh, if we hire help, it has to be full-time, it has to be a specialist that does what the business does. And that's just not true. It could be any help at all, really. Anybody that lets you open up some of that space on your calendar and have a little bit more to give in other areas of your life, that's perfectly valid. And that took me a long time to learn. But it's such a valuable lesson, and I think this month for me really illustrated that. If we look at how my hours broke down, the majority of my time this month was actually spent on maintaining my current offers and the areas of operations that I have. So I did, just looking at my stats here, 18% admin work, which is pretty good, 16% content creation, which is my passion, 8% active marketing, and then 31% maintaining courses and coaching. So that's actually close. If you add it up to the 80-20 rule that I talked about last month, I will link to that blog post underneath this video so you can see what that's all about. But, the gist is that the majority of your time should be spent fulfilling and maintaining and running your business and doing what you do best. It should not be spent on projects that are either shiny new objects or that are distracting you in any way. Any project that you do should be an improvement on a current system in some way, or to maybe set up a new system. And the majority of your time should always be spent on running the systems that are currently in your business. And that's where a lot of entrepreneurs go wrong. They do the complete flip side of that. They spend 80% chasing new shiny objects and just very limited amount of time working in their business. And that's something that we have to flip if you're gonna have a better work-life balance. So mine didn't quite add up to 80%, but close enough, right? And that's because some of those projects that I took on in October were still lingering around. They weren't completely wrapped up. And I did spend more time than usual, so 22% and 6% on those projects in order to get them across the finish line. So it was a little bit different of a spread than I'm normally used to. But again, that's a decision that I made in October that then sort of carried over. So all I can do now is go forward with it. But fortunately, like I said, my environment really facilitated those sprints for me. And it was kind of funny how that all worked out, allowing me that extra time to do that because I had less on my plate at home. On the digital photo front, it was a very good month. November had so much fun in store for me. There were a lot of things to take in, a lot of experiences to capture, sharing between family members, as always happens when you travel. So I came back much photographically richer than I went out. And obviously I didn't keep all of those photos. It's very important that you cull and get rid of the stuff that you don't need. So for myself, I took 977 new photos, and then I culled that down to 257. So quite a bit of photos actually went, and a lot of them were just duplicates and bad angles and blurry shots and things like that. So I basically picked the best ones and got rid of the rest. A lot of them were from our Diwali celebrations in India. I did one photo shoot, I believe, and kept only the good photos from that one. So nothing unusual but still, I found myself culling a little bit more and being a little bit more discerning than normal. Lately, I've taken a lot more regular day photos because, we always think of photos for special events like weddings, anniversaries, birthdays, and things like that. But I find that it's actually really, really valuable to have everyday candids as well, so that you can make photo books or just document what happens on a normal day to day. I find that that's actually a lot more interesting sometimes than those special events, When I look at my own ancestry and my own heritage and I find those stories, sometimes I want to know, well, what was a regular day like for those people? What did they do? Where did they go? What did they work on? Who did they talk to? I find that a lot of that normal stuff sometimes tells the story better. Sometimes that's a lot more interesting. So yeah, I've been sort of doing my own bit in documenting that. So I came home with a lot of candids. And special events are actually fairly rare in my family because we are all living in different places and we don't see each other all that often. So I kind of have to document a lot of the day-to-day. And besides my own photos, I asked family members over there, extended family members, if they had, old family albums, old photos that we'd never seen. I said, can you please dig them up so we can have them scanned? And we did find an album or two that I had a local service scan for me. So that was fun. I could have obviously done that myself here at home, but I didn't want to take everybody's albums and then have to bring them back. So we got a local service over there in India to do it, and that worked out just fine. My brother-in-law as well is a big photography fan, and he did a lot of cool shots for Diwali, a lot of drone shots, in fact, and he shared quite a lot with me as well. So between the scanning and him, I think I added another 300 or so photos on top of my 257. So I had a lot of good memories in November. Of course, none of them got organized because I really love organizing on my big iMac at home. As I mentioned last month, I used Lightroom Classic for that. I have been for years and years, and that has just been my workflow for the longest time. And so I did call and edit on the go, of course, but I wanted to wait until I could sit home with my big iMac and have them on the big screen and get tagging there. So not being home obviously kind of prevented that from happening. And so I had to, again, defer that goal. So I didn't organize any images on my own, I should say, this month. But they will be organized in December. So when I sit down to do my December batch, I'm going to add 2-3 hours to my time and get them done then instead. So, that's what happens when you travel. It is what it is. Sometimes you can't meet all your goals, and that's okay. We just defer them. The key is to not lose track of them and let them go, right? We don't give up, but we can pause and resume if we need to at some point. All right, so for the interesting bit, steps walked in November 2023. My goal for this year has been to walk 5,000 steps per day, just to sort of maintain my health and get enough fresh air and move. And every single month I've gotten very close to that, but November did not work out so well. 2 words came to mind, and that was epic fail. But I kind of enjoy failing sometimes because you learn a lot about yourself in the process. And for me, it was very clear that your environment will make or break you. And you have to curate your environment very well if you want to succeed at your goals. Last month, I mentioned that it's very hard for me to stay active when I'm in Chicago compared to Sweden or Europe, just because you just walk less. The lifestyle is different. You just end up walking a lot less because it's more driving distances. Well, turns out it's even harder in India. So over there, we stay in an apartment complex with limited grounds. If we go anywhere, we are driven around, and going out and walking on the street just isn't practical. For me, the air quality is a slight problem. I have a hard time breathing there. So just because of the traffic also, I prefer to be driven around. It's also a little bit safer. But yeah, because of that, you just end up walking a lot less, right? It's your environment, again, that sort of helps dictate how much you move in a way. And yes, could I have been better about finding a solution? Of course. But I was taking it easy. You know, I felt a little bit like I was on vacation, and so I didn't really pursue it. And I made that decision consciously. I wanted to see exactly what would happen. And if I sum up the stats, they're pretty horrific, but very, very interesting. And I think they kind of illustrate my point about the environment. So here are the stats. We walked 46,262 steps total. That is down over 77,000 steps compared to the previous month. So that breaks down to about 1,500 steps a day compared to almost 5,000. And that's mainly us just walking around the apartment, right? And not really going anywhere. The only time when the steps go up is when we go out and we go to a mall or someplace like that. But that just doesn't happen every single day, right? So it doesn't make a dent in the goal. And again, I use an app on my phone called the Pacer app, which is great to log my steps. Every now and then I forget my phone. I don't have it with me. So the stats can be slightly skewed from time to time. But still, I think the results are pretty dramatic. It's a pretty clear indicator that the environment in India, if I were to live there permanently, for example, I would have to make a huge switch, not only in how I curate my environment, but also my mindset and actually making sure that I actively move. In Europe, I don't even have to think about it. So it's just really interesting to see how that works out. So yeah, again, your environment will really make or break your goal. It shapes who you are. So be very mindful of your surroundings when you're setting a goal and thinking about how can I set myself up for success. It really is a big factor in how well you do. You actively have to make sure that it is curated to support your success in whatever form that looks like. But, whatever might be holding you back, if it's, clutter, poor lighting, ventilation, bad seating, not enough, steps, the weather, whatever it might be, right? Think about how that contributes to your overall success when you set your goals and fix it, because you can work with the grain or you can work against the grain. It's a lot easier to have the supportive environment lift you up. So I'm now really, really motivated. I think that's the kick I needed in order to get that home gym scheduled for December. So I'm excited to implement that and see what difference that makes in Chicago. And yeah, stay tuned. But pretty clear results here that unless I really take charge and actively work with my environment, it's not going to happen. So that's a good takeaway, I think, for all of us. And on that note, let's continue to home cooked meals. We hit our target this month. So I have a target of eating at least 75% of my meals at home. And we came in at just above 77%. Now, the beautiful thing about this month is I didn't have to cook any of them. Does it actually count then? Yes, it does, because outsourcing is a perfectly valid way of taking care of a system, right? If you need help, you can add help. That's totally legal. That's totally fine. That's totally allowed. So in this case, it was one of the staff members for my family. They cooked delicious food that I just had to enjoy every single day, and I didn't have to think about it. And here's the interesting part too. Speaking of the environment, the change in diet caused me to drop a few more pounds. And that is despite not meeting my daily walking goal. So think about that. Imagine if I had actually also hit the 5,000 steps, what difference that would have made. I didn't, but that's okay. It still made a noticeable dent in my goal. So, again, your environment and the surroundings that you have, not just in terms of movement, but also your access to healthy, good quality food is a big part of that. Yeah, it's just funny to see how all of these different environments really take charge of me unless I take charge of them. So I just thought that was so funny. We did go out a couple of times, we ordered in a decent amount as well. So it wasn't always, the same stuff or me eating in, but we did go out and enjoy some buffets every now and then, and obviously we had takeout, and we did go to some other restaurants, and so I got more than enough variety. But still, I love my South Indian food, so I was a happy camper all around. It worked out really well this month. The book that I am really excited to share this month is Exactly What to Say by Phil M. Jones. I love Phil's books because they're very actionable and there's no fluff at all. He kind of just gets straight to the point, tells you exactly what to do, and you can do that. And that is my kind of guy. Every month, I want to go deep on one book. I want to read or listen to one book, and I want to distill my takeaways and really let them sink in and actually take action on that advice and get it into real action. So that's what I do. And Exactly What to Say was a really fun book. I actually listened to it on the plane through my Audible membership, which I love. And it was only like an hour and 15 minutes long. So it right away felt so digestible. And it didn't feel super heavy, like, it wasn't 8 or 9 or 10 hours or something that I had to sit and listen to. No, an hour or so. And within the first 3 minutes, I got so many takeaways that I wrote down. I have probably more notes from this book than any other recent book that I've reviewed. So I would highly recommend it. It's really good. It's about the power of words and how small changes in your vocabulary and the way you phrase things actually contributes to influence more. And obviously for me, I do a lot of online selling through social channels and through my website. So it's really important for me to be able to convey a story and to communicate well. And I just think his advice is always so actionable and practical and really useful. I would really recommend that one. I'll make sure to put a link underneath the video. I'm a big fan of small steps, and he advocates for small steps and small changes. So I'm all for that, as you know. And when you sell stuff online, when you don't talk to as many people face to face, but you still have to convey emotion and influence and get people to take action, you have to be able to say things the right way. And for me, I think his books are just solid in that area. So this book gets a solid 5 stars from me. It's really good. It's short, to the point, and very actionable, very clear. And pick it up if you get a chance. I'll make sure to link to it below, and you can get it from Audible or wherever you get your books. Every month, I make it a point to have at least 3 meaningful conversations with people that maybe I haven't had a chance to speak with one-on-one. Could be colleagues, could be friends, could be neighbors, could be anybody really that I have an opportunity to catch up with. And it doesn't have to be about business. I just enjoy connecting with new people and learning about them and understanding what type of help they need if they're running their own business, or if they want to tell me stories from their past or talk about the future. Just have really meaningful, fun conversations and deepen relationships. I just enjoy that so much. And in November, I got to catch up with some really amazing people. I can't mention all of them here just for privacy reasons, but I want to give a shout out to Lisa of Hope Organizing, who joined me for one of my fika dates, and Mickey as well, a longtime follower and student of mine who also took me up on my offer. So if you don't know, I have a current offer to my email list called Fika with Caroline, and it's basically where I put out an opportunity to just catch up with me for 20 minutes over a cup of tea. And we can just talk about anything. Doesn't have to be business. It can be just anything you want to chat about. And so many people have taken me up on that offer recently. There's limited slots every month, and I kind of rotate that every single month, and it's just been super fun. So Lisa and Mickey took me up on that. And then, of course, I also chatted with some other people that I can't mention by name, but we had great conversations. In fact, I had so much more in common with all of them than I had previously realized. So it was really nice to make that connection. Again, I'll link to them underneath the video, the ones I can. But yeah, I highly recommend staying current on relationships or just reaching out to people maybe you haven't talked to in a while. You never know what comes from that. In fact, I was just at an event yesterday, a fundraiser, and I met so many wonderful new people that I had never met before, that I, connected with. And that's always why I go to events alone, because then that kind of forces you out of your comfort zone. It forces you to speak to new people. It forces you to put yourself out there a little bit and actually actively engage. And I think we all need to communicate with each other better. That's one of the reasons why the world looks the way it does, right? Is that a lot of people are very ego-driven in the way they communicate, and they want their agenda to come forth, whereas I think we all just need to listen to each other a little bit better. And so that's why I try to practice active listening and actually take an interest in the person I'm talking to. So yeah, it's so far been super fun. I'm really enjoying actively connecting and maintaining relationships and actually putting some work into those. I don't want to be that person that doesn't talk to you for years and years and years and lose touch. Like, I'm trying hard not to be that person. Obviously, when you know a lot of people, you can't catch up with everybody at the same time. But I guess by putting some of those offers out there and actively engaging as much as I can, it helps. Whatever little bit I can do, it helps them and it helps me. So yeah, reach out to somebody that you haven't spoken to in a long time and just check in on them. It'll go very far. This month, I'm also celebrating the success of my first ever collaboration with my dear friend Anna of Paternity. And shout out to you, Anna, if you're watching. I love you so much. Thank you so much for your amazing friendship and your creativity and your generosity and kindness. I really can't wait what 2024, 2025, 2026 will look like. I think the two of us are going to work a lot more together, and we have some really great ideas for what that could look like. So I think it's going to be an interesting future. I'm looking to collaborate a lot more than I have in the past, and Anna was the first person that I felt I could do that successfully with, and I think we're gonna keep going. It worked out so well. So again, thank you, Anna, if you're watching. I can't wait to work with you more and more over the coming years, and for a lot of you, I'm sure we'll collaborate in some form or another. I think we can all help each other as much as possible and bring a lot more good into this world. So lots of success for November. I'll tell you more about some of those new offers when they start to take shape a little bit better. But yeah, just know that there's a lot of good stuff to look forward to. Before I round out this productivity report, I want to mention that India, being the chai capital of the world, I just love it. I picked up quite a few teas over there. I will get to more of them, but for this month, I'm highlighting one of my favorites, which was Sublime's Mellow Mango, which is basically a black Assam tea with lots of tropical mango mixed in. It smells so good. It's so nice. You can find it over on Sublime's website if you want to try it, if you want to order it, or if you ever end up going over there to Bangalore, they have local stores that you can pick it up from. But even if you don't have access to that particular brand, adding mango into any black tea actually works really well. Any type of tropical flavor blended in with the black tea kind of softens it up a little bit and turns it really, really sweet, which is nice. So yeah, that's just a tip for you. Try it if you get a chance. I have a lot more for you over on the blog. So I have a run-up of all my favorite hubs, tools, services, and products that I use. They're not sponsoring, this video or my blog post or anything. I am affiliate for some of them, and it's only because I really, really enjoy them and would use them regardless. And I just want to, give them a shout out, really, and let them know how much of a difference they make in my world. So everything from Notion to Airtable to Forever to Lightroom and so on, you can find the whole list of the products and tools and services and hubs that I love over on the blog post. So if you haven't checked that out, do that. And just make sure that you know which ones are an affiliate link or not. You can find that out by looking at the disclaimers. So with that, I am going to wrap up this month, and I will be back again in January with a brand new productivity report for December. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, or whatever it is you celebrate, and I will see you in the new year.